everyone, so this is my review of the Arrowverse crossover for this year called Elseworlds. And essentially what this whole sort of crossover thing is about is that this Arkham Asylum doctor named John Deegan is given this book with the capability to rewrite reality, and upon doing so he ends up causing Barry Allen and Oliver Queen to sort of swap lives and swap powers and everything else, and they are the only two that recognize the difference. So then they have to go to Gotham with Supergirl to try and put a stop to Deegan's sort of plans and stuff. And this was a really interesting episode that it really feels like a lot of like the major comments and stuff that I have to make, where they seem like to be like the exact opposite of the comments and stuff that I made during the Crisis on Earth X crossover, where during the Crisis on Earth X it really felt like everything was just moving so slowly, and it just felt like it took forever to get to like the points and stuff that they wanted to make and all that. But it felt like in this Elseworld crossover stuff, it felt like everything was going so fast that I could not enjoy or really absorb everything that was going on, and it just felt like so rushed and rapid to try and get everything out there and all that different stuff, that it just felt really kind of odd to me, but it was still so enjoyable to watch and see everything play out. Where it was just so much fun to see what they did with Barry and Oliver swapping lives, and sort of how each of them took that and stuff was really fun to see. And especially with how they sort of approached and explained like how they choose to do what they do and stuff, and how each of them sort of had to step up and almost play the role of the other person. And that was just really fun to see. With seeing Barry try and play Oliver was especially fun, with him sort of doing like the whole "you failed this city" line and stuff was really fun. And Oliver sort of learning to take things more enjoyably is the best part I can think of. And just him learning to sort of have fun and be a hero that way and stuff was really fun to see. And then everything that they did with John rewriting reality and stuff was interesting, with eventually John choosing to go and rewrite reality in a way that makes it so that he's the hero and Oliver and Barry are the bad guys. And just how all that sort of reality and stuff played out was really fun to see, with them needing actual Superman to sort of step up and fight this Elseworld Superman. And just how all that played out and stuff was really interesting and fun to see. And then what they chose to do with when Barry, Kara, and Oliver go to Gotham was really interesting, with them sort of showing what Gotham is like, with it being like this very chaotic criminal town and stuff that we know it to be. And how they introduced Kate Kane and Batwoman and stuff was really great, with how put off she was to have Oliver in the city and stuff was really great, especially with it being Barry and how he sort of took it and stuff. And just how they chose to do everything in Gotham and stuff was really interesting, and I just really enjoyed seeing Batwoman sort of fit in there and play around in the playground and stuff with all of them. And like, I'd be very interested to see sort of a Batwoman series with Ruby Rose playing as her, but I don't really want it right now. I feel like that would be a good thing to sort of have in the future to sort of take up if Arrow ever ends, but I really don't want a sort of Gotham Batwoman series if Arrow's around, because I feel like they'd be so similar that it would just be odd. But like, yeah, that would be fun to sort of see her come back in the future and stuff for different events. And it looks like with what they're planning to do next year, it will be a possibility and a major thing to have her come back. And just how this whole sort of Elseworld crossover and everything ended was interesting, with them sort of finally using like all this different stuff, with Supergirl and Barry choosing to run as fast as they could, and I believe it was opposite directions, to sort of slow down the Earth's rotation enough that they would cause things to go in slow motion, so then they are able to get a hold of the book without John being able to stop them. And them discovering that upon a glimpse of the future and stuff that Kara and Barry doing this would end up killing them. So Oliver choosing to make a deal to stop that from happening was interesting, and I'm very curious to know what the deal sort of was made, and I sort of have some predictions of what that might be. And it might be revealed in the next crossover next year, which is that the next crossover will be the Crisis of the Multiverse. And I'm very, very excited to see sort of what they're going to do there and what's all going to happen and what's all going to play out to cause that to happen. And just everything around that I'm so, so excited to see. Especially with the possibility of what it looked like it was teased with it might being Dr. Fate coming into play too. And just everything around that I'm very curious to see, but I'm also curious to know what's all going to happen in this Crisis in the Multiverse, because in that whole series and stuff, a lot of these main characters die, and I'm very curious to see sort of who's all going to die and who's not and stuff. Where I feel like what they're going to do is that they're going to play it off in a different way than what they did with Supergirl. Where in the Crisis of the Multiverse, Supergirl dies, but I feel like what they're going to do is that they're actually going to kill off Superman instead. And sort of have his storyline become hers. And I feel like they are setting up for that to happen with Supergirl, or Superman leaving to sort of have this happy life and start a family and stuff. And that's all playing out for him to end up dying in this crisis. And like I said, I'm very curious and excited to see what they're going to do with that, especially with the possibility of them also introducing Superboy in a later date and stuff. And then I'm very curious to know what they're going to do, especially with another character that I know who dies in the multiverse, which is Lena. And I'm very curious to see if they are going to actually kill her off and possibly have Lex Luthor sort of step up to fill up her role, which is a possibility based on what they've hinted with Lex Luthor possibly coming to the show. And then I'm very interested in stuff to see if Oliver might die as well. And sort of that's the deal that he makes, is to be able to save Kara and Barry. He chooses to sacrifice his own life at sort of like this later date and stuff. And if they do that, that I feel like would be a really, really great end for Oliver's storyline. That's his sort of last heroic hurrah to sacrifice himself to save everyone else. I would really enjoy that sort of ending for him if it's done in the right sort of way. And just, I'm very, very excited to see what they're going to do in this Crisis of the Multiverse crossover next year. I'm just so ecstatic, and I can't wait to see what they're going to all do there and stuff. And just, yeah, so overall for this Elseworld crossover, it was a really, really good and fun and entertaining crossover. It just definitely felt like it was very rushed. And that made it kind of odd to me, but it was still so enjoyable to watch and see how everything played out. So yeah, that's just my view of the Elseworld crossover for the Arrowverse worlds. So yeah, bye!